These episodes are intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion advised.
I think everyone at some point in their middle school, high school, elementary school, wants to be like the cool kid. I being a nerd here because, quote unquote, everyone's a nerd here, respectively. And I love that. So I can be like, oh, let's talk about Pokemon, let's talk about Dragon Ball Z, let's talk about this and that. And you're just being like an outcast in a sense. Not that everyone's mean or rude, but it's just like, it's like, how do I make friends again? It's like you don't know how to do it. Different backgrounds to going to Carson, California, where and it's from knowing people who have never left their little city, their little area.
All right. Welcome back to another podcast, everyone. Today we have an old friend, Josh. I haven't seen you since middle school, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was like 8th, 9th grade, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's great to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So, first question. If you were 18 and you're graduating this year, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd say don't rush into things. I think when everyone's 18, they think they have the world sorted out. They think they're geniuses and know what the world's like. They think their parents have never been the same age as them and have been in similar situations as them. So I rushed into a lot of stuff, especially when I graduated high school. I going into college. A lot of my friends, my senior year, were going to these high-end universities, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I rushed into the biggest university I could apply for and get into, instead of trying to go into a community college and figuring out what I want to do. Because I rushed into everything because the community colleges, and if you're not going to a big four-year university, it has that stigma. So when I went to college, I went into the first degree. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a doctor, just because doctors make money. But I am terrible at math and science, and blood and guts was not for me. So I wasted a good 2 years of my college career just trying to be a doctor and going to medical school and medical programs, knowing that I was going to probably fail. So I wish I would have sat back, relaxed, just been patient, and just kind of see where life takes me, in choosing career path and career field, things like that. So I'd always say be patient, and basic as is, maybe listen to your parents from time to time. They kind of know a thing or two about life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a lot of, whenever I ask that question, that is one of the main things that, be patient. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. Life will unfold as it goes. So it's really interesting to see that we're all kind of going through the same thing. Tell me about your life before Shape, when you were born, life when you got to, yeah. Just tell me about your life from the beginning to where you are now.
Life before Shape was interesting just because, like I said, I think up until high elementary school or middle school, I was in the States. So I was a little kid in the States, traveling around from Georgia, Hawaii, Arizona, North Carolina. And I didn't realize it. I didn't necessarily grow up in the nicest of areas, but my parents did a great job of kind of showing me and my sister from the negative sides of that aspect. So they did a great job because I didn't know we grew up poor. I didn't know we grew up in the bad areas. I thought this is kind of everyone's similar lifestyle. And then, so I think my 6th, 7th grade year, I moved to Belgium, and I was in for a huge culture shock because, Shape is, the headquarters in NATO, so you got kids from Germany, Belgium, France, Norway, all the international students. Me being, a kid from America, not knowing where's Greece at, kind of thing. I was like, where's this country? Never heard of Romania. Whatever countries are in there. So it was cool because I think that gave me a bigger life perspective on a lot of things, different cultures. There's more than just that little American bubble that we know. So it gave me a whole huge perspective and just learning that. I think Shape is when I was trying to find myself in a sense. I was trying to figure out who I was going to be. I think for a little bit I was a class clown making jokes. I remember Miss Rose Spanish class. We were just cracking jokes.
Me, you, and Alex.
Yeah. So I think I was trying to find that stuff, my where I fit into the whole structure of things. And then eventually, what I think after ninth grade year, I moved to Japan, and that was a cool experience too. Like once again, I go from Belgium to Japan, very similar experiences. You know, you have kids from like on Japan who are like, you know, Japanese nationals, and you're kind of getting their culture. Also, my parents were very nice enough to let me explore Japan because it's like one of the safest countries in the world. So I got to do a little bit more, I guess, stuff with my friends versus in Belgium. I had to go with parents or adults or proper instructors. So I love it there, and that's kind of, once again, I was still trying to be the class clown, but I realized the group I was hanging out with then was more studious and more, they more primed on their future versus me. I was just more in the moment kind of guy. And that's and then upon graduation, that senior year, I was like rushing to figure out what to do because I didn't want to get left behind. So I had years there. Then eventually graduated, went back to California, went to university, and that's where I realized I became my own person because I had, in a sense, in California, like no friends. So I think you kind of start from scratch. That was a huge culture shock because everyone in college and my friends that I made in college, like they're friends from like elementary school. They're going to college with them, and it's like starting over again, being a new kid, trying to figure out my little clique, my little group I fit in, what who suits me. So I say that like the first year, it was kind of weird, just being like an outcast in a sense. Not that everyone was mean or rude, but it's just like, I was like, how do I make friends again? It's like you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, I made some friends and got a degree after like about 5 years, in like business administration, logistics, and from there I just took some jobs here and there as a logistics coordinator. And it's been a great, fulfilling job, and it's moving to a data analyst role, but like it's not really as fulfilling as I thought.
Okay. So what are you doing next? Like, what are you thinking of? And then like, when it's not as fulfilling, like how do you deal with that in the time that you're in? Because it's not like you can quit and just go do what you want. So how do you deal with that while also figuring out what's next?
I think the sad short answer in a sense is that the thing that keeps you going is, well, I got bills to pay.
Exactly.
The simple answer. I gotta think, okay, it's not the worst thing. I have friends who are unemployed. COVID was a thing where lots of people were unemployed, and I was blessed enough to still have a job in that, in my field, and still, make money and, be able to put food on the table for me myself, things like that. So that's like the sad, sappy answer is I need money to pay bills and survive. But I guess the next steps for me is like, I'm at a weird crossroads. I think everyone in their like late 20s is kind of at that crossroads. I've talked to friends who are at that weird thing where like what they majored in, what they're doing for work isn't what they wanted to do. Yeah. So like that's what I'm just trying to go back to the drawing board. Like, can I go back for a master's? Can I do certs? Can I do this? Can I do that? And also like looking at TikToks and reviews online. LinkedIn was like, what is the best to have at this kind of time? Like, what do people get most? And you get like a very generic vague answer because it's very hard to answer that question because everyone's different. Everyone has different priorities. Everyone's at different stages in their lives where they can go off and do something like something so basic or something more hardcore. I will say in college, I think something I found kind of fulfilling was we had like open mic nights at our college, like at our little local bar, and a bunch of my friends. And growing up, people were like, "Josh, you're kind of funny. Like you're kind of funny," and I was like, "Really?" So,
yeah, it's true.
A couple times I did like open mic nights, like doing just little comedy jokes and everything like that, and I got some decent laughs, and I kind of like I felt it feels like, oh, people like think I'm funny, like I'm. For a better word, I was a little of attention whore. I like that attention, those little laughs and everything like that. Like, oh, cool! Like I'm making people feel good. So a couple times, and then my parents were like, "Yo, you gotta focus on school." So I focused on school, but I was like, still had that in the back of my mind. I was had like the itch, like, no, what if I got back on stage and just crack some jokes? And then I legit was gonna get back into it. And I was like, I had a little notebook, little notes. I was writing some jokes here and there, and then COVID happens and everything shuts down. So that shut down my whole plan to like get back on stage and go to more open mic nights at like little local comedy bars and what have you. And now it's kind of like been on the back burner for so long that I'm like, I don't know if I still got it. I don't know if I still have it. I don't know if I still have the same love or drive for it because now you're when you go to work. You want to
Yeah.
come home, you want to relax, you want to just vibe. You don't want to do, I guess, in a sense, more work. But like,
Yeah.
like that's the one thing I think I truly felt kind of fulfilled when I was like, outside of like my current job and career.
Yeah. So looking back, would you have kept going with it even though your parents said you need to focus on school? Like looking back, because I know our parents, like when they say like you should be doing this, a lot of us are like, well, I mean, they have the wisdom and they've done all this and so much, like maybe I should be doing this. But like, do you feel like maybe I could have stuck to it? Because you never know, you could have been, I don't know, the next Kevin Hart or something. Like, I don't know, but anything's
That's high
possible.
praise. I would never say I was the next Kevin Hart at that. So I, I think I would have kept with it a little bit more. Honestly, I don't think I would have like dove in full
Hmm.
spread. Because once again, our parents know a little bit like, hey, like comedy, acting, the arts and stuff like doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily pay the bills, so to speak. But I think
Yeah.
I'm still with it to maybe see like how far could have gone. But I don't think I would like commit until I figured out like, okay, like I'm making full money or something like that. But I think I'm stuck with it, knowing that it just makes me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are you looking to get into next? Like, other than comedy, like, what career wise are you looking to get into?
Like I said, like I have a degree field that can kind of take me into kind of any type of field. It's logistics and supply chain. Every sort of business and company has sort of like logistics supply chain
Hmm.
aspect to it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one of those things. Like I originally switched majors from being from pre med to logistics because I can still technically work in the medical field as like a logistics, like getting their medical supplies, things like that. That was my aspect of that. Like that was my thought process. I can still take it and be part of the medical field if I really wanted to. I'm doing this for a company that sells like Wi-Fi devices and routers and things like that. So it's a huge variety. Before that, I was at a company that sells baby strollers.
Okay.
So like I said, it's very wide, very big field. I can kind of take it anywhere. So it's like now it's just like, what do I find interesting at the moment? What's a field I'm like that's piquing my interest? Um, and I think one thing I'm trying to get into is football or the NFL.
Okay.
We have a family friend that's pretty high up in the Chargers organization. We're trying to, I'm networking with her. We're having dinner and, like texting and, Skyping and whatnot. And just trying to pick her brain. It's like, hey, like, do you have any internships? Or do you have any, ideas or how one can get into, say, yes, their equipment manager role kind of thing or stuff like that in their equipment room.
Yeah.
And she's been great, giving me like helpful tips and whatnot. So now it's just about like just trying to apply for that. But right now it's off season. They're not having a lot of openings. So now it's like football off season, like the draft, free agency. So that's not really
Yeah.
the big priority. The big priority is like getting the next Tom Brady on their team.
Yeah. Yeah. Understandable. So, like, is she's become a mentor to you? Like, do you feel like she's helping guide you into the direction that you would like to go next in life?
As much as she can, like I said, like her field, it's like sports wise, it's a big field. So like her just being able to take maybe like 5 minutes of her day to give me some sort of like guidance is very helpful. But I mean, I don't blame her if she can't give me like an hour of her day or like a long period of day. I just because I understand like that's a whole huge entire field. Um, so she's been great mentorship wise though, give me helpful advice, tips, and like just how to stay in there because she's been there since like I want to say like the 90s or the 2000s.
Okay.
So she's
Yeah.
been for like a long period of time. So she has seen pretty much just about everything, how everything goes.
Yeah. So, shifting a little bit, growing up, you said like you were trying to be the class clown. So, did you feel at any time, like when we were in middle school, even like elementary or like high school, like, did you feel like this is all I could be? Or like, was it just like you trying on different hats and figuring out which one fits best for you? Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break to ask if you are enjoying this episode. Go ahead and follow us on Stories of a Dandelion right here on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcast, as well as follow us on all of our social media accounts. Let's create this community full of military brats who feel that they're okay with opening up about their mental health, about sharing their journey, what they're going through, and create a place for beautiful healing through stories. So again, please go ahead and follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, as well as all of the social media accounts. Now let's get back to today's episode.
I was definitely trying on different hats because, like, I think everyone at some point in their middle school, high school, elementary school, like, wants to be like the cool kid.
Yeah.
And I think, with like being a famous actor, singer, the cool kid is like only for like a handful of people. In a sense, like that stigma being the cool kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be like the cool kid with the high fashion, like the cool lines and whatever have you. So I was like, all right, what can I do? I couldn't be a smart kid because school was just not for me. I couldn't pay attention as much. I wasn't a highly gifted athlete. Even though I played sports, I wasn't like this. Once again, I wasn't like Tom Brady. I was an average athlete. I wasn't that tall. So I was like, all right, what can I do? And I think I think I said a joke one time in class, and people were like I got like a pretty big outburst, like bigger than I thought. And I was like, oh, like this feels good. Like, okay. And before I kind of positioned myself to be like a quote unquote class clown, I'd try out jokes. Like, I would force jokes, and I would definitely bomb more than I made more jokes. And I think I figured out like, cool, like kids like fart jokes in a sense. Like, for example, kids like fart jokes. I'm like fart jokes, or whatever was like made people laugh. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my whole sole purpose like on this trend that people are laughing at. So like, I kind of picked them on trends, things where people are laughing at. And I had like a little bit of a flow going. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I can make jokes. Like, this is very great.
Yeah.
When you're trying on those hats, like I was bombing. I felt like more as a poser, like a loser, because you're trying new things and you're trying hard at those things, and people know that you're like trying hard. Dude, it's not coming off as authentic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. Like, in those times where you were like bombing or you didn't exactly figure out who you were yet, like, how did you deal with those times? Did they ever get dark, or it's just like you were like, all right, well, this one didn't work. Let's try something different.
I wouldn't say dark in a sense like that. Like, I wasn't like depressed. I was like, darn, okay, this isn't it. So let's like back to the drawing board. Once again, picking up trends. Like, what do kids like? What do people like? What do I like? I think the one thing though that I wanted to try out, but now it's becoming a big popular thing, is like when like younger I was really into anime, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll be like the anime kid, because I really like anime, like DBZ, Naruto, Bleach, and all these the big animes out there. But I was like, that at the time was like you couldn't say that out loud and without being called a nerd or loser or anything like that. So I was like, let's pocket that one back in there. We're gonna put that one back. Let's focus on other cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was just like, what I had to think was like, what makes myself laugh in a sense. And I think I had a very broad sense of like things that made me like laugh or might pique my interest. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm sure kids like sports. Like, I'm sure people like cars. Whatever. It's like, all right, cool. Like, we have a good, I guess, cluster of stuff that we can pick from that people would like, that I like. Yeah. So just more, I guess, trying to figure like just relating to like my fellow students, my classmates, my audience. They figure like, okay, cool, we relate better, so that's what makes it more authentic. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, because you can only be the class clown for so long in a friendship. Like, it's very surface level, so you gotta find a way to get deeper into it. Completely understand. You were in the anime. How was that being in Japan? Like, did that shift your perspective on it?
I think when I got that one, because like it's not taboo there. It's because that's like the motherland where it was created. So you go to like downtown Tokyo. There's a giant like Pikachu statue, or building, whatever, and like so it was really cool because I'm like, oh, like I don't necessarily have to hide being a nerd here because, and quote unquote, like everyone's a nerd here, respectively. And I love that. So I can be like, oh, let's talk about Pokemon, let's talk about Dragon Ball Z, let's talk about this and that. And people are like, yeah, let's talk about it. So I was in nerd heaven. I was in nerd heaven. So like every weekend, me and my friends would go out in Tokyo. They had like these Pokemon centers, legit like in the show and the cartoons. And it's Pokemon galore. On the walls, there's Pokemon stuff, video games, lunch boxes, action figures, comic books, whatever have you. Like, your mind, like, you can actually have it in that store, in that little Pokemon store, just based for Pokemon. And I was like, this is an actual business. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Do you feel like that helped you be more comfortable in the move and in like your new environment?
Oh, for sure. Because I think also when I moved over to Japan, because like just another side note, backtrack a little bit, like going to Belgium from starting new, like it was like my first like I guess big move that I
Yeah.
remembered, and and then going to Japan, I was like, oh, we're going through a big move. I realized, being in the military for so long, everyone here at this base is doing the same thing. So no one's like being an outcast. Like everyone's like trying to be like, social and friendly because they're going through the same thing. They're moving every 2 to 3 years, starting from scratch. So they were very welcoming. It was very easy to, I guess, like just mold myself in there because once again everyone's the same thing, and then once again you realize also too like a kid from like I said, a kid from Georgia and a kid from California like have a lot in common. You go, oh wow, like you like this, I like this. It was very, I guess as I got older and moved to Japan, it was so easy just like to mold myself with there because I realized everyone's the same way or
Yeah.
experiencing similar circumstances.
Yeah. So how was that going from easily transitioning from one place to another and then going to college and like having a whole nother environment that you had to figure out that it's like, oh, here we go again. I feel like I'm in middle school. I feel like I'm this kid again. And now I have to try to relate to whoever's around me and figure out how to make friends again.
Like I said, like that was a big culture shock because once again, I'm talking, making friends with people in middle school, high school who are doing the same thing, moving every 2 to 3 years
Yeah.
from different cultures, different backgrounds, to going to Carson, California, where and it's from people who have never left their little city, their little area. I had a classmate who's never seen a beach in their life, and they live in California, Southern California. There's beaches everywhere. I was like, "You never been to a beach?"
Wow.
It's a big culture shock because it's a very my school is a very I guess very urban-based community, so like not a lot of people have this kind of costumes, and I was like, "What do you guys do?" They're like, "I stay home." Go down the street and things like that. And like they said, they'd be friends with their friends from like birth versus my friends from birth are like scattered to the wind.
Yeah.
So I said for me, it was hard because people already have their cliques, they already have their flows, and me, I'm like trying to figure out where I fit in there. And don't get me wrong, like my good looks and charm can only take me so far.
Yeah. But how did you start? Like, how did you start when you got there? It's like you were by yourself. So how did you get in the door with these type of people? Like, what were your, I guess, not tactics? Did you go back to being the class clown, or was it like something new?
I guess I did in the sense of I was very quiet. I was very introverted. I think I've always been introverted my whole life. I think once I get comfortable with people, like I come out of my shell and I'm like I said, I'm loud, proud, and like just joking, very comedic. But especially then I was just very introverted. So I think the best way I can figure it out, because like I don't like talking to people up front. I truly don't. If I don't know you, if I'm in a room, I will be in the corner. I'm like, what's going on, guys? So I force myself to try to join like local clubs. I went to college on an ROTC scholarship, and so everyone there's it's in a sense a club or a little frat. I don't know, people frats don't like that. I don't like that. It's like a club, and everyone is there for one social goal, was that to join the military outside of college. So I was like, cool. We all have similar interests. Our big interest is we're going to the military afterwards. So we have that in common. Like we have that common now. So it was like easy to kind of break the mold, and then also in other group settings, I was like, cool. Like I'm going to join the medical pre-nursing program or nursing club, and then so I kind of just forced myself in clubs because I'm like, I have to make friends somehow because I can't be that guy, that nerd, that weird loner in the corner, just all quiet. So, and from there, like I said, I was very introverted, but once we started like doing group projects or group things, I was able to open up more because I was like, oh, like where are you from? They're like, I'm from this place. I'm like, oh, I know about this place, and we banter, we go back and forth and pick interest. I think afterwards, when I dropped out of the RTC program because I realized like I didn't like the program as much. Mm-hmm. And I had a buddy or a friend who became my best friend afterwards, who also dropped out. And we're cursing that program out. We're like, this program was crappy, XYZ. Hindsight, the crappy candidates. That's neither here nor there. So we dropped out. And we're bonding. Like, man, we don't like him. And he's like, I don't like him either. And then he said something. I think I quoted like a movie. And he's like, "Oh, that's a," he like laughs. Like, "Oh, is that like from this movie?" I was like, "Yeah." And then he's like, kind of thinking of that banter. And then we had like a lot in common. We like the same music, same movies. And they seemed like, "Hey, let's go hang out. Let's go grab a beer. Let's go do this and that." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Now I have a friend."
Yeah.
It was great because I guess out of both of us, was the more outgoing one. So he knew a lot of people. He was very friendly. He's like, "Yo, that's my friend Josh. This dude's hilarious." And then he opened the door for me. It was great because that one friend I made opened doors for me by just saying, "Hey, this is Josh," and he said, "Class clown, go ahead, Josh, let him rip." I was like, "Cool, have a nice little introduction. Let's let him have it."
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it can be hard, like walking into a new environment and like trying to figure out where you are in this like new place, and all you want to do is make friends, but you just have no idea how to. I don't know. I think like as kids we need to be taught like how to make friends because like
Exactly.
over time like it becomes harder. Like when you're kids it's easy because like you're playing with this toy, I'm playing with this toy, like cool, but like as you get older it needs to be something that's taught because we can definitely like stay to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
until somebody comes along and brings it out of us. So I'm glad you found
Exactly.
somebody to do that. Oh my goodness. So tell me, how has your experience as a military child help you like in your everyday life? Like not just like what happened at Shape, but like overall, how did it help you with your career, with just your overall life?
Tell me, learning different perspectives in a sense and learning different cultures. So like, especially like just coming into over here because like not many people have that experience that that openness to like I guess new cultures, new experiences, and then just adapting to new surroundings. Like also like, that's a great thing. I adapt to new surroundings pretty quick. I'm a really fast learner because I'm like I want to learn this fast, and I can adjust very fast because I've done this so many times. Every 2-3 years, I'm moving, doing new different things, experiencing new different people, and like coming out. So I get those different people. I get different perspectives. Like okay, this person likes it this way. This person likes it that way. I can do both because I'm very I can multitask. Um, I'm able, like, I guess now, like, my jobs offer me to travel a little bit,
Yeah.
like, to, like, or, like, warehouses and businesses and, like, throughout the U.S. And I was like, and most people don't want to do it because they don't have the energy, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the drive to, like, go out there. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And they're like, Josh, what do you want to do? I was like, because I've done it my whole life. This is nothing. This is a Tuesday in a sense.
Exactly, yeah. So where have you been? Like, where have you been traveling to with your job?
Minnesota, Arkansas, nowhere crazy, nowhere exotic. If that's what you're trying to
Apparently,
get at.
like, it's around the states though. Like, for us, like, yes, like it's not like Spain or Italy, but
Oh
like to
yeah.
be able to travel the United States and like have your job, you know, it's still experiencing a new culture. It's still experiencing something new. So that's interesting.
I'd say Minnesota, Arkansas, and Ohio are the places I've been through, like my various careers, my jobs and work travels. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of waiting for them to say, "Hey, Josh, let's go to Miami for a business trip."
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen because we don't have any business out there in Miami. So I'm like,
Oh,
darn,
dang.
I guess we're going to go to Minnesota in the winter because that's fun.
Oh
I
gosh.
hate the cold, so like going over there is like I hate it because it's Arctic weather for me. I'm over here. It's like now it's like a low 60s, and I'm freezing my ass off, and I hate it.
Really? How low is that? As low as it gets in California?
More or less, yeah, just like low 60s, which I mean, people laugh at, but I'm over here like bundled up, like snow jackets when it's in the low 60s. I remember like in the Shape days, like like it'd be like mid to low 50s, and like the
Yeah.
sun would come out because it's always cloudy, but people would be rocking around shorts and like suntanning. I'm like, but it's like 50 degrees. And I'm over here, I'm so adjusted up here. I'm like, oh my gosh, 6 degrees. I'm going to get hypothermia and die.
It's so weird. I know it's so crazy how easy it's to deal with the weather in like one place and then you move somewhere else and it's like completely different. Because like here in Georgia, it's kind of gotten cold, but like it feels like now since January, it feels like a springish is trying to like come out. So like it gets really cold at night, but like during the day, like lately we've had like mid 60s to 70s. Like it's been like 60 or above. So it's kind of weird.
California's like that. It's very bipolar because like
Yeah.
the past couple weeks we've had like rainstorms, which one never happens. We've had flood warnings. Once again, never happens. Then like the hottest day of the year, and then the next day it's like Arctic, well, California Arctic weather for us.
Yeah.
And then it's like all over the place. I'm like, what's going on? Like I can't get adjusted.
Yeah, it is weird, but like I'm glad like you're doing well and everything is going well. So I'm gonna ask my final question here, and that is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I guess the easiest answer is like I just hope I'm just vibing out, having a good time, being happy. I'm right now in a good place where I'm in a healthy, happy relationship. You know, my family supported me, my friends support me. We're always going out. We're trying to find new things to travel. So I mean, career wise, sorry, I can't talk right now. Career wise, you know, I don't know. I hope I just find a job that satisfies me in some way, shape, or form. But I think overall, like vibe wise, I just want to be happy. Hell, if I had to be a dishwasher at a restaurant and I'm happy, I don't care. It brings me happiness.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple, basic answer right now. But like, I've always been more someone who's on the vibes. I want to have good vibes, and so enjoy myself. So like I said, I just want to be able in 5 years, like to be happy and enjoying myself. I feel like that I can consider like I'm successful because I'm happy versus someone comparing them to like you might be working a nice 9 to 5, making billions of dollars, but like, are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you using that money to fulfill your needs, your family's needs, to help to make yourself fulfilled? I don't know. So I just want to do that. I want to be happy and fulfilled in my next 5-10 years.
That's good. That's good. I mean, that's really at the end of the day who's around you and the ones that you love and the ones that you hang out with. That's all that really matters. And whatever job or whatever happens in life, as long as you have them, like you're good. So that's a really good answer. But Josh, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. It has been amazing. And if you ever want to come back on again, you are more than welcome.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. It was great catching up. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode on the Stories of the Dandelion podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please go and share it with a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms so you can stay up to date on when the episodes are coming out and what is involved in each episode. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you all next Military Brat Monday.